Ilia Topuria has fired back at Khabib Nurmagomedov's recent remarks, suggesting Arman Tsarukyan is a more serious contender for Islam Makhachev's title. Khabib stated that Tsarukyan is a more competitive fighter than Topuria, questioning his credentials at lightweight. Khabib said, "My personal opinion, not necessarily more dangerous, let's say more competitive. I think it's Arman Tsarukyan. I think Arman is a more serious fighter than Ilia Topuria. Topuria is a good fighter at 145, but we haven't seen him at 155. I believe Arman is more competitive for Islam Makhachev than Topuria." Topuria responded on social media saying, "Khabib knows I'm the one to take the belt from Islam. Only reason he doesn't want Islam to fight me." This exchange has sparked further speculation about Topuria's next move in the lightweight division. But that's not all. Michael Chandler recently opened up about his TKO loss to Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314. On Instagram, Chandler shared his thoughts, saying, "There are really no words to describe the pain and disappointment you feel. You just live in it. Let it take its lot and leave you with what is left. From there, you rebuild. The best you can do is move forward with confident expectancy and pride in the attempt. One thing is certain, I can rest in knowing that I prepared the best I could, and I alone was responsible for my shortcomings in that octagon. My team prepared me. The UFC gave me the opportunity. I stepped into the ultimate proving grounds ready. Bested but never beaten. Never out of the fight. Still, in pursuit. And this picture sums up how I feel and what truly matters. Bruised, bloodied, and heartbroken, yet I have my soulmate by my side and 3 little hands to hold. The future is still bright. Walk on, see you at the top." Despite the setback, Chandler remains optimistic about his future in the sport. Meanwhile, another fighter made headlines. Demetrius Johnson addressed the narrative that Alexander Volkanovski is the first fighter over 35 to win a UFC title between 125 to 155 lbs. Johnson pointed out that he achieved a similar feat outside the UFC.
Alexander Volkanovski, the first fighter 35 years older to become champion in 128 155 pound division in the UFC. This is it's not frustrating, but there's been other athletes outside of the UFC who've done it before. Yeah, but that just shows you how big the UFC is. Like, nobody recognizes any other organization, but that is a big feat. Being over 35, I think I've done it against Adriano when I did the flying knee, was 36 years old, and then I defended it at 37, I think. When did I fight him? 37, but anywho, yeah, absolutely amazing.
Johnson's comments highlight accomplishments beyond the UFC spotlight. But that wasn't even the wildest thing today. Tyron Woodley revealed that his song, "I'll Beat Your Ass," was directed at UFC President Dana White. Woodley explained the motivation behind the track, saying, "If you listen to the lyrics, it was for Dana White. I couldn't say I wanted to beat Dana White's ass, but I wanted to bad." Woodley's revelation sheds light on the tensions between fighters and UFC management. Let's shift focus to upcoming fights. The UFC has announced a stacked card for UFC 316, with the main event being Mabdavales versus Shaom Ali 2 for the bantamweight title, and the co-main event featuring Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison for the women's bantamweight title. Additional bouts include Corey Sandhagen versus Petyan, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyre, and Johnny Walker versus Azamat Mozakhanov. Fans are eagerly anticipating these matchups, but there's more stirring in the lightweight division. Javier Mendez, coach of Islam Makhachev, has expressed support for Paddy Pimblett receiving a title shot. Mendez stated,
"You think Paddy deserves a title shot, or he's not ready to face somebody like Islam?"
Paddy's ready to face anybody. I mean, what he's done already, his credentials, his winning record in the UFC, and his hype and what he can do, how he can motivate people. If they give him the next title shot, he deserves it because they gave it to him. So whoever they give it to him, they give, and let's see who they give him to, who gets into the arena with him next. I don't know, but is he worthy? Yes. Yes.
And he's interesting, as you said.
Yes, he's very interesting.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole England behind him, and a lot of America to be behind him. Most of America will be behind.
Yeah.
He has a lot of fans, and I'm a fan. I wasn't a big fan at the beginning. I was not. When he fought Jared Gordon, I was like, nah. But I become...
This endorsement adds weight to Pimblett's rising profile. Meanwhile, in the heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall has opened up about the challenges of inactivity in his fighting career. In a recent Q&A, Aspinall shared,
Been your biggest challenge to date as a fighter, as a UFC fighter?
To be honest, there's nothing to really complain about too much apart from the knee injury. But I think that was a blessing in disguise anyway. I feel like I learned so much from that, and I came back way better. Since I came back, I've gone 3-0 with 3 first-round knockouts. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't good at the time, but I learned a lot from it.
What about securing fights?
That's definitely tough. The timing between fights is not something that I'm too keen on. I'd like to be more active, but I guess that's the way it works at the top. I don't know. I've never been in this spot before, so activity lately has been a bit of a problem. But I feel like it's all going to work out pretty good.
Do you ever get UFC nerves at all?
I'm always nervous to fight somebody. It's not the most natural of things to meet somebody in an octagon. Fly out somewhere, put a pair of gloves on, take your shirt off, have a fight with somebody who you've never met before, or don't even know really, in front of millions of people. It's pretty scary stuff. So yeah, I'm nervous every time.
Finally, what motivates you to keep pushing?
I want to be the best. I want to be the best in the world, and I want there to be no debate about it. I want everyone to think about heavyweight MMA and think about me, and think that I'm the guy, and think that there's no debate that there's anybody else close to me. That's my motivation.
Sean Ali and Israel Adesanya are sharpening their skills together at O'Malley's training compound in Arizona. Footage of the two striking and sparring was shared online, showing Izzy working the pads with coach Tim Welch, and O'Malley mixing movement drills with kickboxing combos. This cross-division training link-up has fans speculating about future matchups and even potential superfight ideas. But while Adesanya sharpens up, someone else is eyeing a return to the cage. Amanda Nunes may be retired, but not for long. The former champ says she's ready to come back, and she wants Kayla Harrison next. Nunes explained her motivation during a recent interview.
And I miss so much. I honestly always have a hard time to be away, I try everything. I try maybe coaching, maybe do this and that, but like I'm a fighter, I'm a lioness, so I cannot be away from this game. So I'm ready to back in, but like tonight was amazing. It was beautiful.
Yeah, twofold, because we saw you at the press conference there for Juliana and Kayla, and obviously you're keeping eyes on whoever wins that. Is that fight itself the motivation to come back?
Definitely. Like I feel like the whole thing with Kayla Harrison, I feel like it motivated me a lot too. So she getting the UFC was a big thing, and she used to talk about me all the time, in interviews, all those things. And I said, you know what? Like, I don't have any injury, I'm good, so I still training, I'm still healthy, so why not? It's a good challenge, and my whole life, my whole career, I move with challenges, I love that feeling, the challenge, the threat, and this is good. Kayla bring a threat for this division, and I love it to be in the mix of that.
She says she's driven by challenges and sees Kayla's strength and grappling as a puzzle she wants to solve. Whether it's Kayla or Pena, Nunes made it clear the Lioness wants her belt back. And while Nunes eyes redemption, Bisping was dishing out harsh truths. Michael Bisping didn't hold back when talking about Paddy Pimblett and his recent rise on his podcast. Bisping warned that Arman Tsarukyan may be Paddy's toughest test at lightweight, aside from Islam.
He's hittable. It would be fun, man.
And I think Arman Tsarukyan, because listen, not that we're trying to tailor a title fight to Paddy Pimblett, but if we are trying to give him a fun fight, that's a legitimate test, but we want to see him fight for the belt, I don't give him Arman Tsarukyan. I think Arman Tsarukyan might be the most dangerous not most dangerous, but in terms of losing the fight. I think that might be the most difficult. So some people listening to this will say, yeah, but hold on a minute, listen to you all, glazing Paddy and going on like he's great. Chandler was washed He's lost. Chandler
And we said
lost
they would
5.
say it. We said that they would say that. Yeah.
Well, they are going to say it. And I'll be honest, it does look like that. And I'm not detracting from his win, right? What Paddy did, the way that he beat him, the way he was so aggressive, hunting him, stalking him, just beating him up in every way. Chandler looked awful though, and he did look like a guy that's almost 40 years old. He did look like a guy that's lost 5 out of his last 7, and he looked like a guy that isn't really going to get these massive opportunities again.
If I was Paddy's manager, I would say, listen, he went out there and beat this dude to a pulp worse than any of these guys that you're saying are above and better than him. So even if he is washed, then why couldn't your guy do that same thing? Yeah. Why didn't your guy get him out of there like that? Charles couldn't do it quite as quickly and as controlled as that, you know? The second time they fought, he went all 5 rounds with him and hurt Charles a couple times in that fight. Almost got him out of there at one
point. Bisping emphasized that Chandler looked like a fighter past his prime, and that Pimblett's real proving ground might still lie ahead. But speaking of Chandler, Alex Pereira dropped some intense sparring footage on Instagram this week. Though he's not officially booked yet, the post came right after Magdalv hinted at a potential rematch this August. No comment from Pereira yet, but fans are speculating a UFC 3005 light heavyweight title rematch could be in the works. While Alex stays sharp, another veteran is licking his wounds after sparring went wrong. Dustin Poirier had a rough session with Mateusz Gamrot and didn't shy away from admitting it. He joked on Instagram,
"Mateusz, you dirty dog. You beat me up. You busted my good ear. I can forgive, but I cannot forget. I'm gonna get you back, bro. Count you."
Poirier and Gamrot both train out of American Top Team, but this friendly rivalry might turn a little more intense in the future. And finally, a bit of trash talk from Garry. Garry is already ramping up the trash talk for his upcoming bout against Carlos Prates at UFC Kansas City. In a video posted to Instagram, Garry replayed footage of Prates quitting mid-fight and added,
"Did you see it? Here, look at this. This is a video of Carlos Prates and his true fighting spirit, called being a quitter. He'd just been beaten up all the rounds prior, puts his hand up, shakes his head, says, 'I'm done,' and then just drops to the ground in absolute despair because he knows that deep down."
If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it.